Welcome back to another LinuxGameCast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. This week, Run Forest, Run. That's right, Photonica is now on the Steams, and Warthunder comes to Linux and Windows. We'll explain that, and Stunt Rally makes with the updates, but it still lacks challenge pissing.
Dave's not here, man, because Billy Mitchell killed him. CGI is expensive, and so are early access dragon simulators. And Wing Commander gets flat, and Richard Garrett's gonna sue somebody.
Isaac is reborn. Better luck next time, Abraham. Another Double Fine game is coming to the Linuxes, and we hear it's massive. A Russian team attempts to bring Fallout 2 to Linux. I think they may have strided their way into this project.
Brilliant. And that was P-Man all the way from Space Portugal, joined also by J-Man from Canaria.
hi.
I'm Vince Stone here at LGC Actual, and together with Chatril Dynamic joining us live, we form a bit of a cocaine Voltron. It's really just a lovable fuzzball of nope. It's brilliant. Before we get into this,
It is the cocknado of souls.
well, J-Man, I think we got to listen to P-Man drone on for 30 minutes about his new computer.
Yeah, no, he got himself a ZX Spectrum, I hear.
I thought he got an Amiga.
It's an Amiga, actually. Yeah, it's an Amiga. Yeah, got a new PC. Everyone knows about it. I made sure to post about it into all the social networks that matter. So if you want to know more about it, stick around. I'll probably mention it through the show because it's kind of fun. And before these two assholes fall asleep, I'm going to let them continue.
Didn't call on you, Pete, I swear.
What's up, sweetness?
No, I was literally working all week, as Ben can attest. It's great when you're working a 9-to-5 job and you end up going from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 at night.
Brilliant. Not much over here. I went through the whole thing of the thermal thingy died on my heat seat thingy, so I was like, oh, let's get a trim photometer and rebuild all that. And I did. And just for fuck's sake, I restarted it before I went and pulled everything out and started working again. So I had fun hobby project time. That was brilliant. J-Man, do you know who else can provide you with endless hours of fun project hobby time?
I'm going to say Shaniqua.
Shaniqua?
And by that I mean Schnappy.
That's right. Look at those leaves. He practically shits them out. But it's brilliant. We're talking about HostGator, some people that help us pay the bills for this distortion train wreck. And check this out. Unlimited web hosting, 20% off. That starts at $3.96 a month. Unlimited disk space, they're not joking. Unlimited bandwidth. And if you're lucky, you'll get special people to answer your tech questions. You might have to call back, but you will always get a live carbon-based entity. But that price, man, look at that. 20% off, J-Man.
That's a bit steep. I think we can do a bit better, because if you enter our offer code of seizureness, LinuxGameCast FTW, you can get 25% off. That's enough to go buy yourself a Subway cookie.
I think I just seized a little bit myself.
Hey, those are pretty good. I like them Subway cookies.
So does our horse. Isn't that right, J-Man?
Yes, but the horse has been a bit busy pre-ordering stuff from Croatia, because it's our update. Yes, it's Croatia entirely coated in cocaine.
Dick NATO. All right, Talos Principle. Tell me about it. Never heard of it.
So is from the makers of Serious Sam Brown Middle Eastern Aliens Edition comes a first-person puzzle game that's trying so hard to be missed you can almost see through it. But yeah, it's up for pre-order now for $17.99 wet stinkies, at least on my end. I'm not sure how you guys see it.
It's clocking in at pre-purchase for $35.99. American wet stinky cash is 10% off.
Okay, that's a whole lot more.
J-Man, you gotta play around with
cheaper
it.
in Space Portugal. I think we've actually entered the Twilight Zone.
You played with it last night.
Yeah, well, the public test is out this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're watching this live, you can still download that. It's a 1 gigabyte download.
Yep.
The puzzles are actually pretty decent. all things considered. They're pretty good head scratchers as you sort of futz around and go, ah. Now,
one thing I noticed, it definitely drops you in there with, like, F you, figure it out. And I liked it.
Yeah,
I cocked around with it.
Nowadays.
Typical to Crow Team, and much like the original Serious Sam, man, that performance is up. It's not there.
Yeah, once everything gets compiled, it's decent. But once you start up the game, it's really herky jerky.
How did it run on your new Moon device?
It didn't move at first. I was like wiggling the mouse and everything was frozen, but then it just started.
Did you have flashbacks? You're like, no, not again.
I was like, okay, did it crash? Because I was still on Fedora 21 beta at the time, so I'm like, okay, so is this the beta showing its ugly head? No. Oh, okay, it's working now. Okay. All right.
Anyway, whoa, Dave.
Whoa, Dave. So, here's something you really don't see anymore. This is a single-screen arcade platformer on Steam. And you don't see him anymore because Billy Mitchell, the king of Gong, killed them all with his hot sauce.
I don't know. I was looking at this. This is players' gun for digital glory by slaughtering aliens, stealing their loose change.
It's an arcade game. It's the kind
4.9.
You pumped quarters into it in the 80s.
Yeah, you need some Ubuntu to run it and collects that business.
Well, somehow it requires 2 whole gigabytes of RAM. I don't know.
How? Probably running it in a VM.
I don't know.
Anyway.
That system requirement seems a bit off. GeForce 8 series? No, I think your CPU can render these graphics, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, then again, it could be Unity, so that could be all.
But it's priced to sell at $550.
Yeah,
Canadian.
$550. Yep. Now our favorite guys are back with an update.
Oh. Yeah, after
I got a nope.
Oh man, yeah. This game makes me sad. So, Natural Selection 2 Build 270 is out. And what does it bring us? Not a whole lot. No, they have a whole bunch of fixes. They've listed bots will not be counted toward players that are required to pass a vote. Wow, that was the thing? Don't give the machines free will. They'll kill us all. They fixed some full screen stuff. Some gameplay fixes, engine fixes, and what have you. They also have some Reaper pack, some skin thing that you can download and install. You have to pay for it? I don't recall.
Yeah, 50% off. Well, 50% of the proceeds. Proceeds. Pay for it. Here's my thought on Natural Selection.
You have to pay for the Reaper pack.
Went all the way through the trouble of re-downloading it again, and I was like, okay, then you just wait like 3.5, maybe 4 minutes before it starts. And when it does, you go to the tutorial, and you walk into the Marine section, and you hit fire, and it completely drops to the desktop, like it did on the first day it was released. Do not give these people money. It's a community effort, and they haven't bothered to fix Shiza. What were you saying, Big-Man?
I was trying to imagine what the head of Unknown Worlds is saying to the rest of the dev teams, like, let's let the community deal with their shit, and what's that? People are idiots and will buy anything we put up for sale? Okay, the aliens slightly more red.
It's a brilliant marketing
there's actually
strategy,
like an actual baby in charge of
You release a game that's completely fucking busted on Linux, then you get the community to develop for it, and you sit back and collect monies from people dumb enough to continue buying it.
It's the Skullgirls mantra through and through.
Yep.
In all fairness, at least they release something.
Yeah. It makes me so sad, though, because I was such a huge fan of Natural Selection 1, and then Natural Selection 2 was just a massive clusterfuck.
You know what else is a clusterfuck?
Binding of Isaac Rebirth.
The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. Yep. This comes from Edmund McMillan, the creator of Cunt, and I'm not kidding. Seriously, look it up. That's a game he made. And you may also know him from Super Meat Boy. He's half of the Team Meat. But you also may remember him from Indie Game the Movie as the guy who was despairing over Super Meat Boy not being on the front page of XBLA when Microsoft promised them it would. But yeah, this is The Binding of Isaac. It's
in all fairness, he didn't threaten to kill Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of which, Ben, we got Mike Malbec on Skype, don't we?
Yes, we do. We figured that out.
We should have him on one day. Hey, what's going on?
It's a bit of an aside. I realized when we were chatting last night, I was like, wait a minute. Somehow Mike Malbec, we're on the Skype.
But yeah, Mike Malbec.
Okay, well, tell me about the fuck mothering game, P-Man.
Yes, this is a roguelite-ish, where you play as Isaac, a child that was abused by his mom and found its way to the basement. And now in the basement, he runs into his deformed siblings, and he has to kill them in order to survive. But in doing so, he becomes a monster as much as they are. So
that's some deep shit right there, man.
Yeah, the game has some deep shit in it.
Well, it better for $14.99. What
like
sticky
randomly
cash
generated
is.
Legend of Zelda, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, I never got the hubbub
Ish.
about the first one or this one, and for 15 for that, I don't know if he's going to get any of my cash.
Yeah, the hype ship for this game has long since sailed, and I like me some roguelikes, but this one's just, it's old now.
All right, brilliant.
All right.
Run, Forrest.
Running!
The game, Photonica. This is actually has positive reviews out of all 27. Ever wonder what running at 140 miles per hour?
I'm getting some serious Virtual Boy flashbacks from these screenshots.
No, your eyes aren't bleeding and your neck's not broken. Photonica is simple but not easy.
My head
Basically,
hurts.
you just run, you jump, you scrape. I mean, this is a rage-inducing game. They sent us an early alpha build of this almost 2 years ago before it was up on the Humble store. I played it then. Doesn't look like it's changed a whole lot, but hey, look, now it's finally on Steam. It's Run and Jump Simulator 2013/2014, and clocks in at $7.49. Normally 10 wet sneaky caches. And you need the ever elusive pixel shader 3.Z. So
Not GLSL, it's Pixel Shader.
are you picking it up, J-Man? I just want to scream, run, Forrest, run the entire time. Just have
Run,
that
fat ass, run!
The 10-hour loop. But
But you know CGIX is expensive, man.
Dovakin, naloxin, los farin.
This is a game creatively named Dragon, where you get to play as, surprise, a dragon.
What?
Oh no! When I first saw this, I was immediately reminded of that one comic where it's like it starts off like the person questioning their gender identity is like, I finally got a surgery to make me feel on the outside what I am on the inside. I am rage and fury incarnate, and all who oppose me shall feel my wrath. But it's an early access game. It's a very steeply priced early access game.
Yeah,
it's on sale now for $15, but it's normally retails for $20. That's some overgrowth territory right there.
That's a bit much.
And I mean the screenshots don't look all that impressive, to be perfectly honest.
Well, I mean, the technology
like
they're using for the system requirements, all you need is a processor to run it, so.
Are you serious? Like, yeah, I don't even need a hard drive?
Nope, no hard drive, no RAM, just...
No. It says you need a hard drive.
Oh, all right. Unfortunately.
You just don't need a video card.
But I was looking at this. We were talking about this before we kicked on the live organ. It does really remind me of Panzer Dragoon from the Saturn. I mean, it's not...
Yeah, it's got a bit more polygons to it, but close enough.
Yes. Actually, Johnny 2K, they should have called it just Trogdor the game.
But speaking of games from the olden times,
the old long ago.
Long before.
Long ago in a distant land, shovelware on Steam. And other shocking news: Sky Blue, Water Wet, Bears Shit in the Woods.
All right, since you used all your brain organ for that one, this is the classic war pack, the cash and grab. All those horrible pixelated games that nobody liked way back in the early 90s are now available for Steam on Linux, including such hits as Nom. It should be Nom, Silent Service, Silent Service 2, Task Force, HQ, and Across the Rhine.
See, you're just mad because they're all about killing Germans.
Schnell.
Except for Nom.
I lost my leg in Nam.
Vietnam is the Germany of Asia. There we go.
But you can get
Vietnam is the Germany of
It's
Asia.
brilliant, though. Special promotion of shovelware is available for your face organ for just 24.49 wet stinky cashes. This is going to end November 13th. So if you hate yourself and you really like playing things that were originally in like 640 by 480 blown up to your 2K glory,
320 by 240 in a good day.
yeah, jump on that business. But head us out, baby.
Yeah, no. Coming up next, we hit 70 frames per second, which is way too. It's not cinematic enough. I keep telling you, people, we need to cap it down to 24.
Well, I mean, we keep the show at 30 because 31 they wouldn't be able to watch it on consoles.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for good old Linuxy news. And, well, this week we have the 7-day first-person shooter Game Jam to start us off with. It's, it's one of those jams that doesn't exactly have a theme.
Is it a Jimmy Jam?
Jammy Dodger. Looking at this
Could
website
be.
right here,
You
they
could
really don't want
literally-
you to be able to fucking read it. That's for sure. How about white on off gray
They
text?
have a pretty bad choice of coloring there. But yeah, the rules are make something.
Hank.
The theme is there is no theme, and the FAQ is can I? Yes, you can.
Absolutely.
So that's it.
8 days
Make
to
a
go.
game.
Make anything you want, right?
Game Maker Studio,
Literally, Game Maker Studio, Unity, get
Unity,
the
and Hexel.
trial version for the Pro editor, and make
And-
something, submit it. That's it.
I'm just asking.
Because
Come on.
you know, we have like a dire shortage of first-person
Give
shooter video
me
games.
Sim Dictator, and I will build you a throne from the skulls
Yeah.
of your enemies.
But-
What Sim Dictator is? It's like a first-person shooter where you basically just sit in one place. People bring you people, and you shoot them, and then you win.
No, my vote goes to whomever submits a social commentary on how 60 FPS is too low and 70 FPS is where it's at.
No. My
Wait,
game. My game.
in the show notes you wrote 7D, so is that like a hex thing or something?
No, that's giggity.
No,
what that
it's
is.
the pun. It's the pun.
We can do 30,
You're a pun.
31st frame rate simulator. It's just a black screen. I've already got the publishing house lined up, Helen Keller Studios. So
Brilliant.
yes, I'm digging.
Thunder!
Thunder. So this didn't necessarily come out of nowhere. I knew this was doing a little bit of the testing, floating around on the interwebs. Well, it's finally out, not necessarily on Steam. What is it? You never heard of it? Basically, all I could surmise was it is multiplayer. You either play as tanks or planes, and you pew, pew, pew at each other in very arcade style.
It's sort of like Battlefield without sort of the being able to jump from vehicle to vehicle, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
It
definitely...
is
you
just
can keep the glue stick in your mouth when you're playing this. Is that something?
yeah, it's
no.
just very basic dogfighting, and it's actually one of the best dogfighting games that's been released since Airfix Dogfighter back in the 90s. It's pretty good.
I tried to run it. A lot of people initially, it just wouldn't launch, and I knew I had all the SSEs, etc.
Yes.
ad nauseum. What I ended up having to do to make the damn thing launch was enable dash mode (windowed), so it would go into a window, and because outside of that it would just core nope. I was like, all right, fine.
Yeah,
which was
you had some trouble with the depths for this, didn't you?
the what?
The depths.
No, I didn't have any too many dependency issues with this one. No.
What was that one you were having depth issues with? Or was that?
There's no telling.
And anyways, I gave this a spin earlier today. It works. I didn't run into any issues with it, but it does download straight from frickin' Mordor. Jeez.
Yeah, it takes a while. The download speeds were pretty slow, but the game itself worked stupidly well on the new PC.
Yeah, no real issues with it.
And performance-wise, I'm getting about 60 FERPs a second on the 770.
Yeah,
So.
I think the lowest I got was like 59 point something frames per second.
I didn't actually play long enough to go hunting in the options menu to see if there was anything I could increase, but
Pedro,
my end,
Pedro,
the lowest I got was 82.
82. Yeah, that's brilliant.
But yeah.
This
you know
is
what else is
massive.
brilliant? Double Fine, and it's massively
Massive!
Yeah. So they have a new beta patch for the backers of their massive game. It's basically fantasy RPG XCOM-ish in medieval times. And there is a new patch out, and there is Linux and Mac support for people who backed it. If you didn't back it, well, you can try sending them an email asking for if you can donate through PayPal, because I know they do that, or they did that with Broken Age.
I'm just waiting for Double Fine to like sneak gift us a copy of this game.
Well, we know that's.
I've sent them an email.
Happen.
They haven't replied yet.
But Linux support is a bit busted. Full screen doesn't work. It's only really going to work. They say the only guaranteed working is in windowed mode at 720p. No mouse wheel support, and they in the poster they provide a whole list of crap that just doesn't work in the Linux build. But there is no better way to sort of get on these problems than putting it out in the real world and having people with real hardware and real
right, and hammering it out. And the thing about Double Fine, I'm absolutely going to say. I mean, I normally wouldn't suggest backing. I can already hear you at your keyboards. Okay, so shut up. Double Fine space, dude. Listen, here's the deal. With anything with like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, that's not. You're not buying anything. You're hoping. You're giving
buying
them
a promise.
You're buying into a promise.
Maybe it's going to happen. Whatever happens, fuck mothering happens. This is Double Fine. They've always been solid with the really. I mean, if they have a new Kickstarter, I just jump in it because you know the Linux port's coming out.
Kickstarter at this point is Tim Schafer's personal zero interest on loans bank account. He just goes there, publishes something,
prints money.
Money.
Well, the last couple Double Fine games were pretty decent. So
pretty fun. But I heard there was some big news that really upset like dozens of like people.
Oh yes.
Right?
So Linden Labs, the makers of Second Life, could not, after buying Desura, could not wait to get rid of it any faster. They pawned it off
It's a liability.
Games who I've never heard of before. Apparently, this was part of a strategic move for Linden Labs to continue development on Second Life and Blox World because they were literally hemorrhaging money from hosting Desura.
I'm a little bit disappointed when Desura first came out for the Linux. It's like it's a great little tool, and they just fucked that ball and dropped it. Now it's turned into the place of, is your game so shit that it can't get greenlit? And we've seen the kind of shit that gets greenlit. If you can't pull that off, Desura. I've genuinely seen reviews of a kid in there defending his first game saying, I'm not giving you a refund. This is the first game I ever made. Cut me some slack. I'm sorry it doesn't work. Too bad.
Yeah, the thing I had hoped that when Linden Lab took hold of it, I mean, those guys have money. Second Life, all things considered, is pretty popular.
But you got to admit, when Linden Lab bought it, you were like, what?
Yeah, it was a bit odd, but okay, they have money, so maybe they'll be able to fix it. Maybe they want to.
Maybe they want to integrate it into their distribution platform. Who knows? They didn't do anything with it.
Nothing at all.
And then with this lot buying it, I'm like, I went from what to really?
So this is like the hot potato intellectual property. You want to take bets on how long it's going to take for these guys to pawn it off on some other poor schmuck?
Let's say if I had to put money down, 7 months.
Maybe 7 months. I honestly think the guys
that sounds reasonable.
Yeah, Bad Juju are going to come out of their cocaine and alcohol and do a stupor and go, what the hell did we just do? What?
But, Pedro, you can go fork yourself.
Fork you, Blue Raja.
Comrade, this is not that kind of forking. This is Russian team taking time slip, forked Fallout 2 code, and re-implementing it for working on Linux.
You're genuinely hurting my brain.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's hurting Pedro's brain to try and churn out that accent.
Is open source Fallout, comrades. Engine written with very mighty non-American scum C++ on SDL. Much copyright infringement, yes, comrade?
I don't
There
understand
is no-
words that are coming out of your mouth.
Well, it is
Talk
not,
English. You're in America.
it's not
Talk
actually
American.
a fork of Time Split's SDL engine reimplementation that we talked a couple of weeks back, but they very obviously stridered a couple of lines of code from his project. It's not playable. It doesn't work in any sense of the word, but you can actually get it to sort of launch, and you can see the main menu, but as usual, you need the game's assets, like the original CD or the Steam version, something, to actually get it there. But yeah, it's not playable yet.
It's entirely in Russian.
No, they have,
So
they have an
there's
English version, but the
that.
GitHub is very much Russian.
And just like everything else, there'll be a link in our show note organ so you can put all that fantastic stuff in your face organ. But what's up? It's just like very 2D, man. Flat even.
Oh man, like so I downloaded this. Jesus, I don't even know what this is because like if you okay, so this is supposedly a top-down shooter. This is the first top-down asteroid shooter according to their trailer ever made. I don't know. I highly recommend you actually take the time to download the demo because you can't actually play it. It's just a movie done in Unity.
It says Wing Commander Flat Universe is a free fan top-down. Please don't sue us. It's based on Wing Commander. No, seriously, guys, don't sue us. From Chris Roberts. And
Oh yeah,
Lord...
no. You know, actually, Wing Commander was a decent sci-fi franchise. It had fucking Mark Hamill in it. They should resurrect that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was made by, Chris
Richard
Roberts
Garrett.
from Roberts Space Industries, the guys that are developing that Crytek game that's supposedly coming
Star
to
Citizen.
But J-Man,
Star
what I'm hearing
Citizen,
from you
yeah.
is there's just nothing here, right? There's
Okay,
no...
okay, yeah. You download it. You sit through this trailer full of bullshit. So much bullshit. I'm like, okay, when do I get to play? And then the thing just nopes. I'm like, did I do something wrong? No. Rerun the game. All right. No keyboard input. I have to sit through these two brothers, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's our entirely custom engine." You go, and it's a data folder. It's a fucking Unity game. I don't know what the hell's going on with this. But you know what? I think it's time to go to the rally then.
Rally the troops. V-Drift Ogre. Stunt rally game with track editor based on V-Drift. Ogre. Ogre. What comes in this? Actually, a couple of neat things. 20 new tracks. They fixed black terrain racist on ATI AMD Radeon cards. New challenges and championships, and this stuff's always been fun. It looks decent. It's really, for open source, one of the best looking races we have, but due to its genetics, there's no real way to make it arcade. There's an arcade button, and it basically goes to, like, from fuck you because that's why difficult to fuck you because that's why difficult. And it,
I don't know, Ben. What's the other racing game under Linux? Fucking
Speed Races.
The other open source
Racer Street.
Tux Card is actually very fun.
I should qualify that. Open source racer.
Ah.
But those guys are doing a fantastic job. You can screech over there. That's code.google.com. Check out the show notes. Get in. Get frustrated. I mean, this does have online mode, and it does work, but this is something you genuinely want to have a wheel organ and pedal organs to fucking play, because there's no combination of controller. What?
And even then, because I had the wheel and the pedals, and it's not very good.
That's because you can't drive, Pedro.
Probably. I mean, it's not like I have a driver's license for around 7 years now.
Yes, show us your identification and credit card numbers. The internet really appreciates that.
Take us the fuck out of this train
wreck. The internet also
wreck
appreciates
segment.
Space New Zealand, which is where we're going next in our review segment. Imagine a world where a bunch of beach chairs are being overrun by zombies in Space New Zealand. Well, you'd be imagining Dead is Land from Deep Silver. It's built on the Chrome Engine 5, not Google Chrome, because this is an Android app, unlike some games we've reviewed. It's been developed by Techland, and you can pick up the Game of the Year edition for $19.99. But if you were lucky enough to grab it a couple weeks ago, they had the Game of the Year edition on sale for $5 whole space bucks, which is pretty good. So what is it? Terror, violence, madness, bedlam. Sounds like a party. A holiday paradise gone mad. Tropical island turned into a total chaos after a mysterious zombie outbreak. It's called hepatitis. Cut off from the rest of the world. The player's only chance to survive is to fight death. Find a way to escape from the island. So, in real person talk, this is basically like Borderlands with zombies. But anyways, because this takes place on the beach with beach chairs, we have our Chairquisition. 1 chair means that it's shit, 2 chairs means that it's math, 3 chairs means that it's pretty good. 4 chairs means that Pedro will talk about it just as much as he talks about his new computer. And of course, we have our categories: Odoo, mixed with the working, shiny sounds, controls, and fun. So let's kick this off. Then, Dead is Land, make with the working.
So sorry, I was just loading my reply to that, J-Man. All right. I think we're all just assume now that this is native. It's kind of funky. I could never get a straight response to whether or not it was. But whatevs. It runs not too bad. Here's some issues, though. It changed my monitor gamma when in windowed mode. Yes, you did, Brad. Yes, you fucking did. Now, full screen, not a big issue. Let's say I want to run something in a window and maybe pause it and check something on the interwebs. But when you blow my gamma up that high and I'm trying to read white text on a background, not that issue, white text on Goog, something like that, that's completely racist.
Did you say background?
Awesome. Show title. That's a bit of a pain in the ass, and it should not do it in windowed mode. I'm just going to be honest with you. In all fairness and in closing on this, performance is absolutely hella off the chart on a Ubuntu 1404 LTS dual 770 octo-core powered box of business. So we give it 3 chairs just because it fucks with the gamma. Gamera.
I don't know. I didn't have any Gamera issues because, Gamera is a friend to children. But yeah, the game runs stupidly well. If this is some kind of rap port, they have some sort of moon sorcery thing that they've pulled to make it run as well as it does, consistently getting over 60 FPS. No issues with, like I said, no issues with Gamma. It works. Just, yeah, the long load times aren't enough for me to ding at a chair, so I'll give that 4 chairs.
Yeah, I read the Steam forums, and apparently it is a native port. There were a couple of people trying to decompile the ELF file. At first they were complaining that it wasn't stripped, and it is a 740-something megabyte ELF file, and stripped it would only be like around 40 or 50. But yeah, it is very much native, and on the calculator, the main campaign crashes immediately after I choose a character or finish loading a game. And the interesting thing is, the Rider campaign from the DLC, it works. Doesn't crash. What the hell? Now, on the new PC, everything kind of sort of works, but tune in for the shiny and sounds, because I'm going to get into that some more.
What kind of PC?
But the new PC has a 970 Strix and an AMD 8370E with 8 gigs RAM and the SSD and the Western Digital Black. But
you
this...
can check out basically any of Pedro's social media accounts for an incredibly detailed breakdown.
Yes.
Is it running GLC as the operating glibc for the operating system, or is he running something else?
Yes, it's Corora 20, 64-bit.
All right.
But yeah, saying that this game loads from Middle Earth is like saying a snail is a fast creature. 2 chairs.
A snail on cocaine is. So that's 3 chairs for Mix with the Working. Up next is Shiny and Sounds, man.
All right, Shiny and Sounds, there's really nothing to mail bomb home about when you see this. It's good looking, but it's not going to blow you away. I mean, it's a bit old. And in all fairness, I'm not exactly the guy that has a lot of experience wandering around in bright daylight at a mothering beach of all places.
You might burst into flames.
It would be hot, let's just say that. Voice acting, it really was not horrid, and on the actual sounds, most of the device organs made a very satisfying thwack when you were doing some skull crushing. So, all in all, on that business, I'm going to give it a 3, mainly because the graphics were good, but they were not, it's not Metro Last Light Redux good competence.
Yeah, I pretty much have to agree with Ben on this. The game looks good enough. So much Steve Blue. You'd think they'd hire actual Australians or New Zealanders to voice this. Instead, they get Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop to voice people from New Zealand. Because Steve Bloom is the workhorse of the voice acting industry. Good on him. But yeah, 3 cheers on that. The game looks fine. Not really mind-blowing in any regard, but it's good. It's AAA, like we've come to expect.
Yeah. The shader compilation at anything higher than the random ass gamma value the game needs fails. It just fails. You get some random artifacting and some really odd colors when there's like water effects or places where the light shift from like a lamp and then the rest of the corridor is dark and then there's another lamp. In the halo that the lamp creates on the ground, the edges, you can see really weird colors. It looks like you're playing the game in 256 colors. It's kind of annoying. But I actually did like the Australian accents, and I think the voice actors did a nice job with the bogan and
they even apologized about Hitler.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, it only gets 2 chairs because there are some glaring issues.
All right, so that's 2 cheers with shiny and sounds. Control. Then, are you in control?
All right. This is what I thought the development process was for mapping out your default on your keyboard organ. Let's just drop some shit down, maybe some bones or whatever, and wherever it sticks, golden, ship it. And oh, that's how you switch weapons? Nope. I mean, seriously, it's your mouse. Take your mouse organ, you hold down your middle clicky thing, then it opens up this window of nope. It's like, okay, you're in an intense fight, and your pipe just cocked out on you. You need to change it quick. What do? Open and spin in circles and hopefully select some. Oh, look, you just got killed to death because fuck you. That's why. Here's another issue. Your gerbil speed has fuck all to do with menu and in-game. In-game, I got it set just right. But when I go in to the menu to move around to select inventory or anything like that, it moves slower than a snail without its cocaine. It's maddening. It's very fucking jarring, and it kept me out of the crafting section more than it should have because you couldn't ever set them right. I was like dragging to get it over here to over here. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just get a bashy thing and swack. So, with that said, for the controls, now, I don't know. I've never tried it with the X-Clone controller because if you play a first-person shooter, especially on Linux, with a controller organ, dying of fire. Seriously. I'm going to give it 2 chairs. That's best I can do, J-Man.
Yeah, the controls really seem like they were designed with controller in mind. And then when they're like, oh, well, I guess we need to put this on a keyboard. Let's just smash our head on the keyboard and divine what the control should be that way. Hey, at least movement is WASD and not something stupid. Yeah. We brought this up last week, but seriously, the F key as the use item key, that's just fucking stupid. Ah. And when you need to knock down doors, you have to go through the little quick time events where you have to move the mouse up. Move the mouse up. I got what they're trying to do with it, but it's pretty freaking terrible.
I'm going to be jerking something off. It's not going to be my mouse.
Yeah, it's gonna be Pedro for sure.
Obviously.
But yeah, and quick time events for fighting off zombies, that was dumb. Oh, press the left button, mouse button, now press the right mouse button. It seems so unnecessary. And combined with like the completely non-intuitive controls, I gotta give this 2 chairs.
Yeah, I wanted to give it a 1 chair so bad, but 1 chair means that it's completely and outright busted. Matter of fact is, the controls, when in game, work reasonably well. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to recognize half your keyboard. I mean, the letter keys, those are just fine. The number keys above the letter keys, that's fine. The numpad, forget about it. Page up, page down, home, insert, delete, forget about it. The extra buttons on the gerbil, yeah, not gonna happen. Uh, so, like Ven actually already mentioned, if you play FPSs, you're probably used to having the mouse wheel scroll up and down to change weapons. That makes sense.
You use the mouse wheel.
But yeah, in this game, you have to hold down the mouse wheel and then wiggle the mouse around to select the weapons. That's a controller scheme for consoles because they're limited to using this shit, and apparently it's stuck. I can't bring it up. But yeah,
Giggity.
it's not a PC.
For you at home, that was a 7-inch dildo.
Yeah. It's not the PC way of doing things. You have tons of buttons. Give us at least a chance to map something to cycle through the weapons. Not having to hold down the frickin' scroll wheel. 2 chairs.
Alright, so that's 2 chairs for control. And finally, our subjective category. Fun. Ben, did you have
Fun. I really wanted to give this 1 chair because, well, yeah. But in all fairness, I've played worse. Look at the negatives here. Fuck all load time. Seriously, shite weapon selection controller thingy. Fuck that noise. But at the end of the day, it is your average, slightly above average zombie smasher game if you just ignore the quest. I mean, it's good for blowing off some steam, or if you're like me and like, oh, that's what sunlight looks like. Weird. And just go smash some people. I kind of wish you could smash the actual people too, because I really wanted to sodomize Giggity. A couple of them with pipes and other contraptions that I did put together finally. It just took a long time. If it goes on stupid sale again, pick it up. It's a no-brainer. At its current price, no. Absolutely not. This does not save that money for your Metro 2033 Last Light Redux. That's what you should do. For this game, like I said, couldn't give it 1 because it's not complete shit. I mean, it's a time waster. I put an on into it. But wait for my final thoughts, because I got some multiplayer business to talk about. So, 2 chairs.
Oh, you want final thoughts for multiplayer? I was just gonna go right into it.
Go for it.
Yeah, if you wanna play multiplayer, good luck with that. The for whatever reason, when Ben and I were trying this out yesterday, or actually this morning, believe it or not, we were trying. Oh yeah, let's join multiplayer. That shouldn't be too hard. Number one, you have to be if you want to join someone's game, you have to be in the same spot or later, which makes sense. But then you have to go into the game lobby, and I don't know, for some reason, there are a bunch of different versions of Dead is Land out for Linux, because if you're running the wrong version, you can't connect. You can't even, and sometimes if you have certain DLC installed, you won't be able to connect unless the other person has DLC installed, and you can't even disable that DLC so that someone else can connect. It's an entire ordeal, and it took us, 30 minutes to get multiplayer sorted out?
On before. No, I had to re-download the entire fuck mother.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you had to re-download the entire game. And okay, that's multiplayer completely. Once we got it up and running, it was reasonably okay. This is basically Borderlands with zombies and fucked up inventory management. It's I don't want to call it Borderlands fatigue, this game is inferior to Borderlands in many degrees. Every single mission is go out, get this, come back, go out, get this, come back, go out, get this, come back. It's so grindy.
Quests.
It's so pointless. I had no fun playing this game. After an hour of futzing around with all the different characters, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm done. Goodbye. 1 chair.
Yeah, it's not just the fetch quests, it's actually the escort missions, because the AI in this game is stupid. And I mean stupid. Back when the game was originally released, the NPCs would not enter your vehicles. Like, say you were driving a vehicle to get to the quest area, and then you had to escort the NPC back. The NPC would outright refuse to enter your vehicle. But then they released a patch when the game was only on Windows that it would fix that. Nowadays, at least on Linux, the NPCs do not enter the vehicles. They don't. They're running back to the quest giver, and you're driving along behind them, and it's like, okay, run on ahead. And then if they die, you have to restart the mission. It's a fucking pain in the ass. It's one of those games that is actively trying to get you to hate NPCs. But yeah, other than that aside, it has the makings of a proper game. The core idea was something interesting. It could have been an awesome game if it had been done properly. Fortunately, 3 years have gone by since the game was originally released. They've ported it to Linux, and they have introduced even more bugs than the game already had. It had a lot of them. That NPC one I mentioned was just the tip of the iceberg. But at this point, I can't really recommend it. So for the fun, gets 1 chair.
So that totals to 1 chair for fun, and the entire game totals to 2 chairs.
There we go.
So, gentlemen, final thoughts.
That multiplayer thing, we were almost at the point of like spending 30 quid to try to get it to work. We were that fuck-mothering frustrated. Maybe we don't have the right, maybe we need to buy this version, whatever. Fortunately, we just got down and I was like, I may have had an earlier version than other people have had.
If you restart the game enough times, it'll work.
That was our solution at the end of the day. After I reloaded it, re-downloaded it, then it just happened, and I hit record. We got some great footage of that. It'll be coming out next week. Still, multiplayer is not enough to save this because you're not doing anything exciting and new in multiplayer. It's like, but you can trade with each other. It's like, who the fuck all wants to sit back and trade with the zombies around? It's like, oh no, zombie horde. Hey Ben, what you got, man? Yeah, no, that looks nice.
What's going on? You got some cocaine for me?
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Yeah, no, J-Man really nailed it right there. I mean, it's questy like Borderlands, but bad questy. It's grindy questy and pointless. I don't care about any of these people. I would just kill them all and hold up somewhere to the entire plot. And the way the weapons damage and run out and you have to get them repaired, that's just a fucking mechanic to keep you fucking grinding. All right, enough Lewis Black. J-Man?
Yeah. The one thing that really bothered me is it looks like you can interact with the environment because the pots and pans and vases and whatnot sort of pop out. But it's not. Your stick will literally phase through them because apparently it is the master stick and can only be used to defeat Satan.
Oh, and everything has cash in it.
Oh yeah, everything has cash in it. Everything has booze in it. And if you pick up booze,
I forgot about that.
It occupies your main inventory slot, so you click your left mouse button, and then you drink, and then the entire freaking game goes completely.
And everyone in New Zealand only knows about energy drinks, right?
Energy drinks.
Yeah, that's one thing I forgot to mention is the inventory, like the loot system, not the inventory. Well, the inventory system is busted in its own special way, but the loot system is actually completely broken in Linux. Namely, you kill stuff, you get brass knuckles. You open a chest, you get brass knuckles. You open like some random cooler you find out in the street, there's energy drinks. Anything that's randomly generated loot, it always gives out the exact same thing. Either you find something specific out on the street that's actually placed on the map when the level loads that's any different. Otherwise, all you'll find are brass knuckles, money, and energy drinks.
Yeah,
that's it.
Honestly, the weapon system is a bit screwy. I get what they're trying to do where you can like upgrade and repair weapons, but lead pipes don't break. They
do in this game.
they do in this game because apparently lead is the same as aluminum.
Well, you got to remember, zombies are made out of adamantium.
That's true.
And a crowbar, you can hook up a 12-volt battery to a crowbar and have it deal electrical damage because physics, bitch.
Whilst holding the crowbar?
Yes.
Brilliant.
On that shocking closer.
On that shocker. Coming up next, hate mail. Specifically hate mail not aimed at us, but Linux Nuru of Chat Realm.
Brilliant.
Hey, like the show? Check us out at LinuxGameCast.com. Click on the podcast button for RSS feeds, our wall of shame, and donato buttons. There's also an Amazon affiliate link, because making this shit is hella expensive, yo. Speaking of which, if you like kicking us somewhat stinky, a recurring donation gets you a producer's credit at the end of the show, and a one-time donation gets you into the super ultra mega chocolatey fudge Linux Gaming Super Squad. Broke as shit. Can't steal your parents' credit cards? No problem. Spread the word on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, and YouTube. And remember, kids, fuckity bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, perhaps you'd like to get in touch with us, but you don't know how to do it. Well, that's why we have the hate mail. And just a quick reminder, if you'd like, to send your hate our way, go on over to linuxgamecast.com, push that contact button on the nav bar, fill out your name, fill out your email, give us a subject, give us your message, prove you're smarter than Vansbot, and we'll feature your thing. Unless, of course, it is a crowdfunding campaign of any type. And then, unless you send us a alpha, beta, demo, prototype, whatever you want to call it, we will not talk about your thing. Sound fair? All right. So, who do we have this week on the hate mail?
We got Johnny2K.
Ooh.
Says, it's time for hate, motherfuckers. I hate when the live show's on Saturday. Why do I have to choose between getting drunk in public where there might be single ladies and getting drunk at home? This is fucking bullshit. TLDR, Linux Nuru is a cock-polishing fart sniffer. Lol OMFG kittens. Well,
Kittens!
I mean, who needs women when you have Linux Gamecast? If you close your eyes and pretend, Pedro's almost as good as a real woman.
Yeah.
And alternatively, you can give your phone company all your money by streaming the live show to a tablet at a bar and show all of the single ladies your cool internet.
Especially with the Pedro angle, I mean, we get a lot of love from the LGBT community because we have a girl on the show that's an active lesbian. So,
hi.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's brilliant.
How you doing?
Getting drunk in public is awesome. It's brilliant.
Yep.
Been
there, done that. Had the assault charges. Dropped.
Had the T-shirt, which is basically just like the scrubs they give you when you're in like.
But if you're watching live, we're here to try to provide you a little bit of an entertainment organ. In case you're not out drunk in public, then you can be at home drunk with us or on other various substances that are not drugs. Hi, Twitch.
Crocodile isn't a drug.
So,
but apparently Strider had something to say. And Unigine and GPU tests aren't games. No, they're synthetic benchmarks. Neither is Steam. Unigine Heaven and Xonotic 0.7 were released in 2013, and it wouldn't make much sense to benchmark NVIDIA's driver while comparing OpenGL to DirectX. You want to hate on the guy so much, why don't you make sense? You don't make any sense at all.
So context, we were talking about this article where Michael from Phoronix has basically gone and said, "Oh, Ubuntu 14.04 NVIDIA proprietary drivers, the OpenGL support under Linux is better than the one under Windows." To which everyone who knows anything says,
Jordan, let me interrupt you for a second there. Ven just scrolled over those graphics cards, and I noticed something about that. You see, there are 3 different graphics cards on that picture there, and according to the text on the table just below said image, Michael says that they're all gigabyte cards, when you can clearly see they're not. See, the ones on the sides, the 780 Ti and the 980, are in fact gigabyte cards, but the middle one is very obviously an EVGA superclocked 970. Liar.
First of all, we have
factual inaccuracies aside. The main thing is, who the hell uses OpenGL under Windows?
Thank you. I was just about to say what I wrote in the show notes. That was my fucking bit. That is the genuine. I want to say this about Laravel. Totally respect the man's business sense. Tabloid journalism, clickbait articles. The only reason he writes something is to generate ad revenue. He doesn't fucking care about anything else. Wholly inaccurate, Portal 2, among many other things that we could fucking mention. Metro Last Light. That's a brilliant one, too.
The Witcher being a native port.
And a lot of people like to come in and say, but he does really good benchmarks. And I'm like, who fucking knows? This one is clickbait article. And look, check this. Come on. Seriously, 5 pages for that? No. And who in fuck all? Oh, yes, OpenGL performance under Linux might be better than Windows. All right, that's great, but it's fucking useless information. I mean, if you're gaming under Linux, you want to see how good OpenGL compares against what people use on Windows, because when was the last time a fucking filthy heathen he even runs Windows? That's miserable. Ooh. Set all the game renders to OpenGL. Now, I know there's some exception, right, J-Man? There was like one...
Yeah, a couple of years back with the whole DirectX 10 to DX11 debacle. But then everyone shifted over to using Windows 7, and that sort of became a non-issue.
Yeah, but nowadays, I guess the most popular game that still uses OpenGL on Windows is Counter-Strike 1.6, and that's a gold SRC game.
So my point still stands.
Gotta play some DE Dust, man.
Yeah.
Some DE Aztec.
Thought it was got a playlist. Don't really want to get into that. And when you're definitely talking about an engine, all right, an engine is basically our synthetic benchmark that we have to run. That was used for one game. I mean, it's a game engine. It is Oil Rush from the creators of, oh yeah, you guessed it, an engine. And nobody else, they looked at that Nightmare Fuel and went, oh, fuck
there is one other game.
Oh, there's that MMO thing.
Relics
that
of
is,
Enerath.
Right. They're actually
Relics
looking for other developers. I'll put an extra note to give them a plug because they're trying to unsort that. They're looking to get some new people on their team. But aside that point, and really nothing else to say other than I'm right. Okay? End of the day. And on that bombshell, you can cue the music and you can always find me. I'm Vin Stone at Vin Stone on the Twitter nets and plus Vin Stone on the G pluses.
I'm Jordan Spung. You can find me on Twitter at The Burning Fool or on Google Plus at Plus Jordan.
The Schwing, as he likes to call himself. I am Pedro Matos. You can find me at Unaccounted4 on Twitter or plus Pedro Matos on Google Plus.
So I guess at the end of the day, take that shot, and we should also make sure that we keep the swing safe.
Swing, swingity swang.
Swing.
Swing, swing.
Swang, swang. Party on, man. Party on, Garth. Swing.
Swing, swing.
Michelle Pfeiffer. Swing. Though these days, not so much.
That's ageist.